A mighty empire, a vanished city, a mystery over 2,000 years old. Was Atlantis ever real or just a story gone wrong? It's a place where the known world ends and the unknown begins, a boundary between reality and legend. Did an advanced civilization really vanish beneath the waves, or was Atlantis just a philosophical parable? For centuries, one name has echoed through history, a lost paradise swallowed by the sea. Atlantis. This fabled city, said to be more advanced than any civilization before it, has inspired countless stories, debates, and expeditions. Its allure is undeniable, a beacon for those who seek the extraordinary. The legend has fascinated explorers, scholars, and dreamers for generations. From the earliest sailors to modern-day scientists, the search for Atlantis has become a symbol of humanity's relentless curiosity and our desire to uncover the truth behind the world's greatest mysteries. But what if everything we know about Atlantis comes from a single ancient account? The story originates with the philosopher Plato, whose writings have sparked centuries of speculation. Was he recounting a real event or weaving an allegory meant to teach us something deeper about ourselves? The real question isn't just where Atlantis is, but whether it ever existed at all. Is it a memory of a forgotten civilization, or simply a myth that's grown larger with every retelling? The line between fact and fiction blurs as we search for answers. The search for Atlantis is a quest for answers about our own past, blurring the line between history and myth. Every discovery, every theory brings us closer to understanding not just Atlantis, but the ancient world and the people who dreamed of lost utopias. We're drawn to the idea of a vanished utopia, an advanced civilization lost in a single catastrophic day. The image of a thriving society wiped out by nature's fury haunts our collective memory, reminding us of the fragility of even the greatest achievements. So, are you ready to dive into the heart of this mystery? The answer could rewrite history, but the quest itself is what truly matters. Our investigation begins not with crumbling ruins or sunken cities, but with the written word, echoes from a distant past preserved in fragile manuscripts and ancient scrolls. The story of Atlantis emerges from two dialogues penned by the philosopher Plato, Timaeus and Critias, texts that have survived the centuries, sparking debate and fascination across generations. Within these works, Plato introduces Atlantis, a mighty island nation said to lie beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. He describes a civilization of immense power and wealth, whose influence stretched far and wide. Every modern theory about Atlantis, from wild speculation to serious scholarship, traces its roots back to these two dialogues. Plato is our only primary source. Without him, the legend would not exist. Plato frames the tale as a historical account passed down through generations. According to him, Egyptian priests told the story to Solon, the wise Athenian lawmaker, who then shared it with his descendants, eventually reaching Plato himself. The Egyptian priests claimed that Atlantis existed 9,000 years before their own era, a staggering claim that challenges our understanding of ancient history and raises eyebrows among modern scholars. In Timaeus, Atlantis is introduced almost as a side note, a prelude to a much larger discussion about the nature of ideal societies and the structure of the universe itself. But in Critias, Plato shifts focus, offering a vivid and elaborate description of Atlantis, its concentric rings of land and water, its grand temples, and its advanced technology. He paints a picture so detailed it feels almost tangible. Through these passages, Plato gives us what seems like a blueprint for a lost world. Yet the question remains, was he documenting a real civilization or crafting an allegory to illustrate his philosophical ideas? After all, Plato was a philosopher, not a historian. He often used stories and myths as tools to explore complex concepts, justice, governance, and the rise and fall of societies. Was Atlantis simply a teaching tool, a cautionary tale about hubris and the dangers of moral decay? Or did Plato genuinely believe in the existence of this lost civilization? This is the central conflict at the heart of the Atlantis mystery, a puzzle that has inspired explorers, scholars, and dreamers for over 2 millennia. In the end, we are left to decipher the intentions of a man who lived more than 2,000 years ago, relying solely on his words to unlock the secrets of a world that may never have existed at all. According to Plato, Atlantis was a paradise, an island beyond the Pillars of Hercules, gifted to Poseidon. Poseidon built a city of concentric rings connected by canals and bridges, a marvel of engineering and beauty. The land was rich in resources, including the mysterious orichalcum, second only to gold. Atlanteans were brilliant architects, building temples, palaces, and a powerful navy. For generations they lived in harmony, ruled by 10 kings descended from Poseidon. They despised everything but virtue, thriving in a golden age. But over time, pride and greed corrupted them. Their ambition grew. They sought to conquer Europe and Asia. Only ancient Athens stood against them. Then disaster struck. Zeus judged Atlantis, and in a single day and night, earthquakes and floods swallowed the island. The civilization vanished beneath the sea. Was this a warning, a memory, or pure invention? Among all the theories about Atlantis, perhaps the most compelling real-world candidate is the Minoan civilization, which flourished on the island of Crete thousands of years ago. The Minoans were a sophisticated and enigmatic people whose influence stretched across the Mediterranean. Their reach extended to the nearby island of Thera, now known as Santorini, where their culture thrived alongside Crete's. Around 1600 BC, Thera was rocked by one of the most powerful volcanic eruptions in recorded history. The explosion sent massive tsunamis crashing into the surrounding islands and blanketed the region in choking volcanic ash, causing widespread devastation. The Minoans, renowned as master seafarers, traders and architects, saw their advanced society suddenly collapse. This abrupt downfall is eerily reminiscent of Plato's description of Atlantis, a mighty civilization lost to the sea in a single day and night. Modern excavations at Akrotiri, a Minoan city on Santorini, have uncovered a remarkably advanced society, frozen in time beneath layers of volcanic ash. Streets, homes and vibrant frescoes remain astonishingly well preserved, offering a rare glimpse into their daily life. The similarities are striking. A powerful naval empire, boasting impressive fleets and grand palaces, ultimately destroyed by a cataclysmic natural disaster. The echoes of Atlantis are hard to ignore. Yet, there are puzzling discrepancies. Plato placed Atlantis far beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar, and claimed its destruction happened thousands of years before the Minoans. Some researchers suggest these differences could be due to translation errors, exaggerations, or even deliberate metaphors used by Plato to convey deeper meanings. While the Minoan hypothesis isn't a perfect match for every detail of Plato's story, it stands out as the only theory grounded in a real, advanced civilization that was destroyed in a way that fits the legend's core elements. Unlike other Atlantis theories, the Minoan connection is supported by tangible archaeological evidence, ruins, artifacts, and entire cities preserved by disaster. Could the legend of Atlantis be a distant memory of the Minoans passed down and transformed through generations of storytelling until fact and myth became inseparable? Or is the truth behind Atlantis still waiting to be discovered, hidden beneath the waves or lost to time? The search for Atlantis has spanned the globe, from the Atlantic to the Americas. Some take Plato literally, looking to the Atlantic Ocean, citing the Azores as possible remnants of a sunken continent. In Spain, near Doñana National Park, researchers have found strange structures beneath marshes resembling Plato's descriptions. Theories link these ruins to the ancient Tartessian culture, wiped out by tsunamis. Across the Atlantic, the Bimini Road in the Bahamas was once thought to be Atlantean, but is now known to be natural beach rock. Other theories place Atlantis everywhere from Antarctica to the North Sea. Most lack concrete archaeological evidence, no artifacts, no inscriptions, just speculation. The global hunt shows our desperation to find a home for this story, but without proof, these sites remain tantalizing mysteries. What if Atlantis was never real, but a philosophical allegory invented by Plato? Plato often used stories to explore ideas, but think of his allegory of the cave. Atlantis, in this view, is a cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris and moral decay. The Atlanteans fall from virtue, corrupted by power, and are destroyed. A warning to Plato's audience. The biggest clue, no mention of Atlantis exists before Plato. No Egyptian, Greek, or Minoan records reference such a superpower. The story appears, then vanishes, until revived centuries later. Its perfect symmetry and structure feel more like a fable than history. Perhaps the real treasure is the lesson, not a lost city, There's a third possibility, the mistake theory. Maybe Atlantis was a real story, distorted and exaggerated over centuries. The tale passed from Egyptian priests to Solon, then through generations ripe for errors. A mistranslation could have turned 900 years into 9,000, or a metaphorical location into a literal one. Perhaps Plato received a fragmented account of a real disaster, like the Minoan eruption, and embellished it for his philosophy. Later generations took his story as literal fact, launching a global search. The legend grew, fueled by misunderstanding and imagination. Atlantis became history's greatest wild goose chase. Today, the search for Atlantis uses cutting-edge technology, submersibles, sonar, satellite imagery. We can now explore the ocean floor and scan coastlines for hidden ruins. Yet the legend endures because it taps into our longing for lost golden ages and our fear of catastrophe. Atlantis is a story of paradise lost, a warning about the fragility of civilization. The mystery itself is the adventure. There are still secrets waiting to be discovered. The search for Atlantis is a search for wonder. It's the hope that something incredible lies just beyond our reach. That's what keeps the expedition alive for every new generation. We've journeyed from Plato's pages to the ruins of Santorini and the depths of the Atlantic. Now the question remains, was Atlantis real, a myth, or a mistake? The truth is elusive, shimmering just beneath the surface. You must weigh the evidence for yourself. Was Atlantis a real place like the Minoan civilization, or a brilliant allegory, a lesson about pride and downfall, or simply a story distorted by time and error? Whether Atlantis was real, imagined, or misunderstood, its story continues to captivate us. What do you believe? Truth, myth, or mistake? Let us know in the comments. The final verdict is yours. Never stop questioning, never stop exploring. Like and subscribe for more travel adventures.